If you have ever seen photos of Akihabara, you probably already have an idea of what to expect. Bright signs, anime characters everywhere, arcades, electronics, maid cafés, and shops filled with more merchandise than you could possibly look through in one day. But I think Akihabara is one of those places that's difficult to understand until you actually experience it. Because Akihabara isn't just an anime district, it's a place where people's hobbies are taken very seriously. Anime, manga, gaming, trading cards, figures, electronics, retro games. Whatever that you are interested in, there's probably an entire building or several buildings dedicated to it. And that's what makes Akihabara so much fun.
父のこだわりは
You don't necessarily need an itinerary. Sometimes, the best part is simply walking around, entering a random building, taking the escalator upstairs, and discovering something you had no idea was there. So, in this video, I want to show you how I would experience Akihabara, what to see, what to do, and some things that I think first-time visitors should know. I still remember what it felt like when I first started exploring Akihabara properly. It was very overwhelming, but in a good way. You walk out of the station, and immediately there are huge advertisements covering entire buildings. There are arcades, anime shops, electronic stores, people handing out flyers from maid cafes, and everywhere you look, there's something competing for your attention. But what surprised me the most wasn't actually what was happening at the street level. It was what was happening above me. Because one of the first things that you learn about Akihabara is look up. A building that looks like one shop from outside might have 6, 7, or 8 completely different shops inside. You might have trading cards on one floor, figures on another, games above that, and something completely unexpected on the top floor. Once I realized that, Akihabara felt much bigger, and even after visiting so many times, that's still one of my favorite things about it. I can walk down the same street that I walked down countless times and somehow still find something new. Before we start exploring, let's understand where everything is. The good news is that Akihabara is actually quite easy to explore on foot. Your main starting point will probably be Akihabara Station, and if you are here for anime, gaming, and electronics, the exit that you want to remember is the Electric Town exit. Once you leave the station, you immediately find some of Akihabara's most recognizable buildings nearby, and just a short walk away is the main road running through the district, which is called Chuodori. This is where you will find many of the huge stores and colorful signs that people associate with Akihabara. But don't make the mistake of only walking along the main road. Some of the most interesting places are hidden along the smaller streets behind it. And honestly, Akihabara isn't an area where I think you have to follow Google Maps every second. Walk around, turn into a side street, look at the signs, enter somewhere that looks interesting. Getting slightly distracted is part of the experience. So now, what can you actually do in Akihabara? The answer depends completely on what you are interested in. If you love anime and manga, you could easily spend hours browsing merchandise and books. If you are into figures, there are entire floors filled with them. If you are a gamer, you will find modern games, retro games, arcades, and gaming merchandise. Trading card fans also have countless shops to explore. And of course, Akihabara is still famous for electronics, cameras, computers, audio equipment, components. Sometimes there are very specific things that I don't even know what they are used for. And then there's a different side of Akihabara entirely. Gachapon, maid cafes, character cafes, restaurants, collectibles. The point is, you don't have to enjoy everything that Akihabara offers. You just have to find your thing. Because once you do, you can probably spend several hours exploring that one interest alone. Now that we have already covered what you can actually do in Akihabara, let's talk about some of the places that I personally enjoy. And one of the easiest places to start with is Radio Kaikan. It's right outside Akihabara station, and if you are into anime, figures, trading cards, or character merchandise, this building alone can keep you occupied for quite a while. There's something that you notice a lot in Akihabara. You don't necessarily visit only one shop. You visit one building and then discover that there are completely different shops on almost every single floor. One other place worth checking out is Yodobashi Camera. This is on the other side of Akihabara station and is absolutely enormous. Electronics are obviously the main attraction, but you also find toys, games, hobby items, restaurants, and plenty of other things inside. Then, if you're looking specifically for anime merchandise, figures, or collectibles, there are places like AmiAmi, Animate, Surugaya, Gamers, and Mandarake scattered around the area. And honestly, this is where I wouldn't recommend following a strict shopping list. Prices and stock always change. Different stores specialize in different things, and half the fun is comparing what you find. Sometimes I walk into a shop looking for one thing and leave interested in something completely different. That's Akihabara in a nutshell. Here is one mistake that I think first-time visitors sometimes make in Akihabara. They only explore what they can see from the main street. And if you do that, you are missing a huge part of Akihabara. Look at the signs outside buildings. Look upstairs. Look downstairs. Walk into the smaller streets behind Churodori. Some shops don't have huge entrances at street level. You might need to enter a narrow doorway, take an elevator to the 5th floor, and suddenly find an entire shop you didn't even know existed. I also wouldn't rush. Akihabara rewards wandering. If you are constantly thinking, I have to finish this street in 30 minutes, you're probably going to miss the best part. Give yourself permission to get distracted, because sometimes the random shop that you weren't planning to visit becomes the most memorable place you'll find that day. And of course, we can't make an Akihabara guide without talking about maid cafés. Even if you have never been to one before, you have probably seen them being associated with Akihabara. And yes, they are very much part of the experience here. A maid cafe is essentially a team cafe where the staff dress as maids and interact with customers as part of the entertainment. Depending on the cafe, there might also be performances, games, decorated food, photos, or small rituals when your food arrives. If you have never experienced one before, it can feel a little bit unusual at first. But my advice is this: if you are curious, just go in with an open mind and have fun with it. You don't have to know exactly what to do. The staff are very used to first-time visitors. That being said, always check the pricing system before entering. Some cafes have entrance or seating charges in addition to whatever food or drinks that you order. And different cafes also have very different atmospheres. So if this is something that you are interested in, have a quick look at what kind of experience each cafe offers first. You absolutely don't have to visit a maid cafe to enjoy Akihabara. But if you have always been curious, well, there probably isn't a more appropriate place to try one. So let's say that you are visiting Tokyo for the first time. You don't have an entire day for Akihabara, but you do have one afternoon. Here's how I would spend it. I would first arrive at Akihabara station and leave through the electric town exit. From there, I would begin with Radio Kaikan. Don't try to inspect every single item, just explore the floors that interest you. After that, I would next head towards Churodori and spend some time wandering through the main shopping area. Visit whichever shops match your interests. Anime, games, figures, trading cards, or electronics, or whatever else that you are here for. Then I would deliberately leave the main street and explore some of the smaller streets nearby. That is where I would slow down. No checklist, no rush, just explore. Somewhere in the middle, take a break, grab some food, visit a cafe, or if you are curious, try a maid cafe. After that, I would finish with either an arcade or Yodobashi camera, and if possible, stay until evening. Because once the lights come on, Akihabara feels different. The signs become brighter, the streets become more colorful, and you get the classic Akihabara atmosphere that you probably have seen before in photos. You don't have to see everything. You just need enough time to find the parts of Akihabara that you enjoy. Now, before we finish, there are a few mistakes that I would try to avoid if you are visiting Akihabara for the first time. The first is probably the biggest one. Don't rush. Akihabara isn't really a place where I would recommend arriving, taking a few photos, walking down the main street, and leaving an hour later. You can do that, but you have barely scratched the surface, because so much of Akihabara is hidden inside buildings, which brings me to the second mistake. Don't only explore the ground floor. I've mentioned this several times already, but look up, check the floor directory, take the elevator. Some of the most interesting shops might be 4, 5, or 6 floors above you. Third, don't only stick to Surugaya. The main street is absolutely worth exploring, but wander into the smaller streets too. That is where Akihabara starts feeling less like a tourist attraction and more like somewhere that you can genuinely explore. And finally, don't feel like you have to experience every single thing. If you're not interested in maid cafes, skip them. If you don't care about electronics, don't spend an hour looking at electronics. If you want to spend 3 hours looking at figures, honestly, just go for it. Akihabara is much more enjoyable when you stop trying to complete it like a checklist and start exploring the things that actually interest you. I've already been to Akihabara so many times now, and you would think that eventually I will get bored of it. But somehow, I don't. Part of that is because Akihabara is constantly changing. Shops change, merchandise changes, new games come out, new anime becomes popular, and every time I come back, there's always something different to discover. But I think there's also one other reason why I enjoy Akihabara so much. It's one of those places where being really passionate about something doesn't feel unusual or weird. You can love games, anime, figures, trading cards, electronics, whatever it is, and somewhere in Akihabara, there's probably an entire shop filled with other people who love exactly the same thing as you. There's something really nice about that. And personally, I also just enjoy wandering around here. I don't always need to buy something. Sometimes I walk through the shops, look at what's new, play a game, grab something to eat, and just enjoy being there. Maybe that's why Akihabara has become more than somewhere I visit as a tourist. It's become one of those places in Tokyo that simply feels familiar to me. And whenever I'm back in Japan, somehow I always end up here again. So, is Akihabara worth visiting? I think that depends on what you are looking for. If anime, gaming, electronics, or Japanese pop culture don't interest you at all, Akihabara might not become your favorite part of Tokyo, and that's completely fine. But if there's something here that you genuinely love, I think Akihabara can be an incredibly fun place to explore. My biggest advice is simply don't overplan it. Know a few places that you wish to visit. Give yourself enough time, and then wander. Walk into that random building. Take the elevator upstairs. Turn down the side street you weren't planning to visit at first. Because Akihabara is one of those places where getting distracted is sometimes the whole point. And if you're planning your first visit, I hope this guide has made Akihabara feel a little less overwhelming and a lot more exciting. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.